Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanya. So today we're going to be talking about homes I love in movies. I got this idea from Ariel Bassett's channel. I will link the video below that she did about these different homes and spaces in homes that she loves in all these different movies. And I was like, okay, if she's doing this, then I definitely have to jump on the train as well, jump on board. I absolutely love architecture. I love interior design. My mom went to school for that very thing, so she has that background.
I said, Mother, that's my architect.
You guys, I've collected Architectural Digest magazines from her. I still have them. I just absolutely love a very styled home and interesting architectural pieces inside a home, whether it's like, like beautiful bay windows, vaulted ceilings, atriums, domes, just anything that gives a very nice detail and uniqueness and charm to a home. I am absolutely wanting to just look at it and marvel. So I love so many different styles of homes. I absolutely adore the Gothic, the Tudor styles, the colonials. I love a good craftsman, a farmhouse, a Victorian, the antebellum era. I just love all of them, really. It's like just throw them all into one big castle for me, okay? But yes, I want to go ahead and get started with these different homes that have definitely impacted the way that I might look for property in the future, or the way that I have decorated my space, movies, houses. What else could you want? Okay, so let's get started. Father of the Bride.
Who needs this old shack? I'll look at
Father of the Bride is definitely one of those films that is the pinnacle of the Americana, comforting home. The exterior of the house is really just so striking and gorgeous. It's a white revival colonial home with a white picket fence. You have all of these different vines and blooms and all these different plants that are growing on the house. It just looks so structured and beautiful. We've always called it in my home a cake, because that's what it looks like. It looks like a beautiful cake that you can just cut. And that's another thing. My mom actually, her wedding cake was pretty much like a castle. It was like a home. Maybe this is where I'm getting it from, but yeah, my mother's wedding cake was very much so, it had these like features of architecture in them. It's so beautiful. Oh, very towering and just stunning. But yes, maybe that's where I get the bug from as well. But Father of the Bride stars Steve Martin, Diane Keaton, Martin Short, B.D. Wong, Kimberly Paisley, George Newbern. We have Kieran Culkin and a few others. Eugene Levy has also made an appearance. And there are two movies. There's the first and the second. The sequel is just so good. I think the sequel does a really great job at actually showing you even more of the house. There's this grand entrance at the beginning of the second film where you get to see all the little corners of warmth. You guys, the movie is such a ride. It's really funny, and I think it's quite a classic. This girl, she's getting married, and the father, who is Steve Martin, he is just freaking out. He doesn't want to spend money.
Excuse me, sir. What are you doing?
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I want to buy 8 hot dogs and 8 hot dog buns to go with them. But no one sells 8 hot dog buns. They only sell 12 hot dog buns. So I end up paying for 4 buns I don't need. So I am removing the superfluous buns.
I'm sorry, sir, but you're gonna have to pay for all 12 buns. They're not marked individually.
Yeah. You want to know why? Because some big shot over at the Wiener Company got together with some big shot over at the Bun Company and decided to rip off the American public. Because they think the American public is a bunch of trusting nitwits who'll pay for things they don't need rather than make a stink. Well, they're not ripping off this nitwit anymore, because I'm not paying for one more thing I don't need. George Banks is saying no.
Who's George Banks?
Me!
He absolutely loves his daughter.
What did you say?
Dad, I met a man in Rome, and he's wonderful and brilliant, and we're getting married.
It's just such a comedy, and it's a rom-com, of course, but it's just such a ride. You guys, it's currently on Hulu if you want to go see it, or maybe by the time this gets posted, we don't know where it'll be, because they always switch things out. But yes, let's talk about the house and what I really love about it. So the home is quite symmetrical. It's a white revival colonial house with a white picket fence, so it has that very American dream house feel to it. As I said, lots of plants and blooms all around the property. There's a nice driveway where Steve Martin's character comes in with his gorgeous Porsche, I think is it? Or Corvette? I don't know what kind of car it is. But yes, I absolutely just love the curb appeal of the home. Even the street, I think it's 24 Maple Drive or something like that. Just even the street that leads up to the home is so quintessentially classic, if I could say that. It just is such an enveloping and warm home. When you walk in, there's this grand staircase that leads to the upstairs bedrooms, and then there are these two arches to the side, one leading to the dining room and one to somewhat of a formal living room where you can sit and relax and talk and, you know, have guests be in your living room to chat. The color palette in the home is also very relaxing. You have all these beiges and creamy whites. It's not something that I would personally do in my home, but the way that I think it might have been Nancy Meyers used that in the film, it just makes you feel comforted. It feels inviting and feels warm and soft and just digestible. Yeah, also the lighting that they've used in the home, it just absolutely allows for little flicks of sunlight to come through so you can enjoy your coffee or your breakfast in the kitchen. The kitchen, guys, is a stunner. I actually took inspiration from that kitchen as well as the Practical Magic kitchen, which I will be talking about in just a moment, to redesign and renovate this New York kitchen that I have here in my apartment. So a lot of the different elements of like the creamy whites and the glass and this airy and somewhat open space that looks like you can just easily make a nice soup or bake a pie or just, you know, sit on the kitchen floor if you wanted to and have yourself a cup of ice cream. It just works. The way that Father of the Bride has designed the set as well just makes it seem like there's always these root vegetables strewn upon the counter. You have all these cooking materials that you might need to be making such a comfy and delicious meal, like mashed potatoes and tomatoes, a good steak. That's what the kitchen looks like. Yeah, so the kitchen just has like these really beautiful butcher block counters, which I was thinking of for this kitchen that I just recently did here in my apartment, but I went against it just because I want to make sure that the kitchen is more so durable. I just love all the corners of the home. You see a lot of drapery and curtains upon the windows just to make sure everything just still feels enclosed and absolutely warm. Another part of the home that I really loved, in the first movie, Steve Martin's character goes and digs up an old maybe 70s suit that he has because he's trying to desperately save some money for his daughter's wedding.
My first move was to get the old tuxedo out of mothballs.
And puts on the suit and it fits, but it doesn't really fit. It's like just by this much. And you are shown the attic, and the attic just has this very enclosed feeling. I love that you can kind of see the arches and all the architectural features of the attic, of course, because you're at the very top of the house. And yeah, there's a window there and it's warm and it's dark, but it's not creepy, because a lot of people will say a basement or an attic can be extremely terrifying and creepy. But yeah, Father of the Bride, just the exterior of the home is really just the showstopper. One more thing, that backyard where the main characters are playing basketball, you get this grand shot of the house from the back, and you just see all of these windows that'll obviously let in the sunlight or the evening moonlight in. So it just really is so beautiful. Lots of trees and foliage, and the garden just looks absolutely stunning, and I just love it. So yeah, that's one of the movies that has definitely influenced my home journey and how I kind of look at architecture and interior design. It's just absolutely comforting.
I love this house. I love that I taught my kids to ride their bikes in the driveway. I love that I slept with them in tents in the backyard. I love that we carved our initials in the tree out front. This house is warm in the winter, cool in the summer, and looks spectacular with Christmas lights. It's a great house, and I never want to move.
Practical Magic. If ever there was a house that I really wanted to live in, it would be the Practical Magic house. Almost every single corner of that home is what I'm looking for in a house. It is so beautiful. The kitchen is stunning. The attic space is just amazing. The garden that they have is just it's just perfect. And then they also have a real showstopper. It's like a waterfront property. I think even Barbra Streisand wanted to buy the home from Practical Magic until she found out that unfortunately it's made out of a set. They just like constructed a shell of it, you know?
Fine.
So yeah, practical magic follows these two sisters who have this curse upon them that pretty much makes it quite impossible for them to ever have a long-term man in their life. The men usually just end up dead. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. If you guys don't know practical magic, I highly recommend you to watch it because it is a great 90s movie, and of course it stems from Alice Hoffman's practical magic novel, so that's pretty incredible as well. At times Victorians will have 2 to 3 stories as well, so that's a very interesting feature, which is always fun because I am a sucker for a good attic or basement. So they really wanted to make it look as if this house was passed down through the generations and that, you know, witches were the ones who really inhabited the space. Touching back on the water feature, the waterfront property, because this house has about 2 to 3 stories, it really kind of emulates a lighthouse, and you can really see that at the front of the home. There's this stunning porch that overlooks the garden and the water. It looks like just the perfect place to, you know, sit and have a nighttime conversation as fireflies are going about in the garden. So I really do appreciate homes that have encased and opened porches. I really, really love that. Now, a lot of the times for me, when I'm looking at homes, I absolutely love the entryway or the entry hall. It has to be quite breathtaking because that's one of the first things that you do notice when you enter a home. So in practical magic, there's this stunning woodwork. It's very intricate. It looks like it's extremely dark and deep as far as the wood. I'm not sure what kind of wood that would be, but yeah, you see that it opens up to probably a living room and a grand staircase. So I absolutely love that in Victorian houses. A lot of dark wood. I do have to mention the potions room. It kind of feels like a solarium. It's so pretty. There's a lot of dried herbs and different ingredients that the witches would need to concoct all of their potions and to create their spells with different natural elements. So I love the potions room, and I had found a home in Virginia once that kind of emulated that. It kind of looked like a laundry room, but it was so pretty. It just seems like it's just a space to have all of your dried herbs, some vegetables, powders, and chemicals and things that you might need around the house. So I love their potions room so much. And of course, Sandra Bullock's character Sally, she owns a botanical apothecary-like shop in town where she creates lotions and shampoos and all of the aromatherapy type of things that you might need in your self-care regimen, possibly. But yeah, you can see that they really implemented that element of like, oh, we deal with the earth, we work with the earth. So I love their potions room. It's really just so pretty, and lots of glass in there as well. Another stunning feature, the whole house is just so pretty. I have to kind of linger on this one a little bit. Another stunning feature is their attic bedroom. The way that they showcased these stairs, it just seems like the house is infinite. It just goes on and on and on. It reaches to the sky. I loved their attic bedroom. If there's anything that I absolutely adore, it's when you can actually stand in an attic. It kind of doubles up as another space that you can entertain in, or maybe use as a bedroom, or not only just for storage, but you can really just have like a unique piece. Maybe you might want to keep books there, or maybe you might want to make it into an art room or a studio of sorts. But yeah, I love when an attic is actually usable, not just for storage. And the one in Practical Magic is just so beautiful. You just have these like very high ceilings, and you can see a lot of the woodwork as well. And one last piece that I will touch on for the movie is their kitchen. I think almost everybody who watches that movie is in love with their cozy kitchen. This is a witch's kitchen where they're able to put their cauldron in. That kitchen is just so pretty. It's white with all of these beautiful tiles. It's very open and spacious. You're able to see how they arrange their plates in this, I don't know exactly what you call it. If you can, let me know. Just let me know down in the comments. But yeah, they are able to arrange their plates inside of that structure. I don't know what they call that. But yeah, I just absolutely love the kitchen, and I found a lot of inspiration in it to use inside of my own. It's very, beige and creamy and white. And we're gonna add, of course, some tiling to the wall, some backsplash. So I don't know if I want to go with a square look or maybe a subway tile. We'll probably keep it very classic though. Yeah, I love that kitchen. And another aspect of it too, you can see the staircase connected to the kitchen, so that just makes it even more interesting. It just feels like people are coming and going in and out of that kitchen. Just amazing. Another aspect of it that I drew from their kitchen had to be their farmhouse sink. We have like this huge porcelain white apron sink that just kind of goes over the counter, and it's just huge huge and deep. So that's another aspect of it that I really loved, and for sure I nabbed it immediately. But yeah, I just love that kitchen. It's very airy, lots of glass, lots of creams and beiges and whites, and it just seems like an inviting place to just kind of be the central hub of the home where they're doing their witch's work and they are chatting it up, eating meals, having margaritas, and just enjoying a good old time with their family. So another epic feature of the kitchen are their cabinets. Usually in most homes you will have cabinets that actually have a nice, like a solid back, but in theirs it was glass, so you can see right through it all of the beautiful china and cutlery and all the plates and bowls that they have. So it was helping to open up the space quite a lot, which I really love. But yeah, I think the potions room, is it considered also the green room? I don't know, but the potions room and the green room is just, I think it's right off of the kitchen as well, which really just helps to kind of make that whole space completely memorable. If you ever saw the movie, that kitchen is just so stunning. That's the kitchen I want. Jack. Okay, so the next place that we're going to be talking about is, I believe, set in California. It's Jack, this 1996 film starring Robin Williams, Diane Lane, Jennifer Lopez, Franny Fine, I forgot her name, Fran Drescher. Oh my gosh, there's so many people in here. Oh, so many people. Yeah, and just a bunch of other people. Oh, Journey Smollett is in there as well as a young little schoolgirl. But yes, Jack follows this character, this kid. Robin Williams plays the titular character. So yes, so Jack, Robin Williams' character, he has Werner syndrome or progeria. Basically, it's kind of like if you can imagine Benjamin Button, you know how he started off as a very old and frail baby, and his youth, it just, you know, kind of reversed. It went backwards. So that's basically what's happening to Robin Williams' character. He's just aging at a rapid rate. His cells are just growing, and he looks like a 40-year-old man in a 10-year-old's body. So that's basically what it is. And yeah, he just has a bunch of adventures with his schoolmates. He tries to figure out what love is like, dealing with his parents, being isolated. It's just, I love this movie so much, and it really shaped a lot of my childhood as well. So the home that Jack lives in, it really looks like a very Victorian-esque craftsman. It is absolutely stunning. So from the outside of his home, there's this kind of really tall dome type of tower. It's really beautiful with like this somewhat of a spire. It's not like an actual full-fledged spire, but yeah, there's this like dome structure that gives it that Victorian essence. The house, I believe, is white and blue, and it is so pretty. There's this great iron gate at the front of the home where his buddies were trying to take a peek at Jack because they've heard stories and rumors about who lives in that house. But yeah, the home just really, it embodies really like a perfect childhood home. This is a place where you can enjoy making forts, building things out of cardboard, and just letting your imagination run wild, which they really showcase that in the story. And Jack's bedroom, it is so sweet and age appropriate. It has a very I Spy essence of it, lots of different toys and things to keep him occupied. You'll find a lot of different little charming and quirky items in there. So I really loved his room. It was just absolutely like comforting and enveloping. It's very warm and cozy. I think it has a very like darkish vibe to it too. Navy blue, look at that. I love navy blue, as you can see. And yeah, I really loved his bedroom as well. And his schoolroom, he had to be homeschooled up until a certain point. They did a really great job. It just basically had everything that he could possibly need alongside it with his tutor. It was just well equipped, and it looked like a place where you could be a creative and just be such a kid. Like you can paint and draw and just run around and just have so much fun and horseplay almost, you know? Just a place to pretty much let your imagination run wild. But yeah, the outer structure, the exterior of the home is really just a stunner, and the inside just seems so warm and inviting as well. You don't have too many shots of the inside of the house because they do take the kids outside of the home, like to have adventures, bike rides. There's even a little tree house moment where he climbs up a tree with his friends. He built this like ridiculously elaborate tree house that comes crashing down at a certain point. It's kind of crazy. Definitely check out Jack if anything. Robin Williams is going to have probably some of the best homes and sets that you can imagine, you know? So yeah. Hide and Seek. So our next home comes from this 2005 movie called Hide and Seek, starring Robert De Niro, Dakota Fanning, and Famke Jansen, who's Jean Grey from the X-Men. It's been a while since we've seen the X-Men. Since I've seen the X-Men. I'm doing the thing that's in the movie. Dissociative identity disorder. Nothing to laugh about that, but I just think that's funny because I said we when it's just me.
I don't get many visitors. Please, sit down. It comes and goes. It's the pipe. I have a piece of pipe in my head. Oh? I don't get many visitors. Please, sit.
Yes, so this movie basically it's a little bit of a dark and twisted psychological thriller. Dakota Fanning and her father, Robert De Niro, they go to upstate New York after De Niro finds his wife in an unfortunate position in the bathtub. It looks like an apparent suicide, and they just kind of get away from the metropolitan city aspect of New York, you know, the 5 boroughs where it's a little bit more busy and hubbub a little bit, if that makes sense. And they go to this quiet area in upstate New York, and a lot of weird stuff starts to happen. A lot of weird things start to happen. But speaking of the home in particular, that house is just so cozy. It just belongs pretty much in the area that they did go to. We are not quite sure what kind of a style the home is, but we're kind of saying it's more so of like a craftsman, like a modern kind of craftsman with these Victorian elements, and it also has a little bit of that gingerbread essence in there as well. It's a very wooded home. I love the landscape that Dakota's character had to play with. You can just see her running in the woods like for days, pretty much. They have this just wooded area in the backyard, the front yard, the side of the home where you can just play hide and seek. You can get lost there. I do recall that there was some really simple touches in the home, such as the staircase. It was just nice to see. It's very gray and beige. Another aspect of the house that was nice as well was the bathroom. It had this relatively large and big oval shaped tub. It was very porcelain, of course. Not so much clawfoot, which I really enjoyed that kind of feature in houses, but more so oval. And then there's like this beadboard lining the bathroom, okay? And it has this, you know, creamy beige color. And then above it, which you kind of have like a two-tone wall thing going on, which I absolutely love, as you can see, possibly, maybe, like just a little touch. That's like two-tone, and like green at the bottom, then white at the top. And in my bedroom, I've done that as well. Pink at the bottom and then white on top. But yeah, there's like a sea foamy kind of color in the bathroom as well. So it's just kind of calm and chill, very just relaxed and simple. They really nailed it when it came to the windows in the space. You can just pretty much see the woods from the inside of the house. The paint also was really nice. They used a lot of different paint colors in the space, which was very, very nice. It kind of reminds me of these kind of, I think it's Denmark or this Deutsch, if I could say that, homes that you always see in like Europe, you know. And then I think there are also a lot of nice bronze fixtures in the home that just really ties everything together. The whole house was just simple. It seemed like any home that you could really find in like modern America that you settled in, and you'd have to of course clean it because it gives off that vibe of like weirdos used to live here. So yeah, I just absolutely love that house, and I love the grounds much more. I definitely enjoyed the movie, and the ending is quite a surprise if you guys are very curious about that. Rose Red. So now, Rose Red is a mini-series, so it's actually not a movie. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
But yes, it is a mini-series that came out in 2002, and it basically is Stephen King's work. I have not actually read Rose Red. I'm looking forward to getting into that because I still haven't read any of King's work, so we need to get that corrected probably next year. Look out for that. The story follows this psychology professor from Seattle, this university professor. She's a little bit abnormal and quirky. She's unconventional and unorthodox, her ways. She wrestles up and collects a bunch of psychics to go and visit this infamous home called Rose Red. Apparently, it has been reported that there are hauntings there, people have been disappearing, people have died there, and a lot of crazy, weird things are happening. So she's bringing her crew to see if she can document if there are any paranormal phenomena phenomena or any sightings that they can capture on video, audio to bring back to validate, you know, her research and stuff. So yeah, the movie is very, or I'm gonna keep calling it a movie, but the miniseries is very, very good. And something that of course adds to the whole story is the architecture of Rose Red. The Rimbauers. Yes, Ellen Rimbauer and Sukina. You guys, it's quite difficult actually to find it. I think one of the best chances you ever have of actually revisiting Rose Red, if you ever wanted to see it, if you're, you know, don't know what I'm talking about, is to buy the DVD. So it's a little bit, it's kind of old, about 20 years. We can say that that's back in the day at this point. But yeah, the house is kind of reminiscent of Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House. I believe that Stephen King reached out to Steven Spielberg to see if he could find a way to loosely remake that manor and that mansion into The Haunting of Hill House to kind of have that same kind of essence. Now, naturally, the house is reminiscent of the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California, because oftentimes, not the exterior, but the interior kind of changes. It becomes smaller, it shifts, things are just kind of moving about, and one room can be here, then when you turn a corner, it might be somewhere else, like a door might be moved or a hallway might not exist anymore. So lots of shifts and lots of like rearranging of the rooms and the corridors and halls and entryways and attics and staircases happens in this place, which just sounds like, why would you even want to go there? God. Yeah, so this parapsychologist is hell-bent on getting her footage, and you guys, oh my gosh, it's so interesting how the story ends. I highly recommend you guys catch it. But okay, so the house was built by this oil magnate John Rimbauer for his young bride Ellen Rimbauer, and it's very Tudor Gothic in style. It is situated on about 40 acres, which sounds just the ticket. Like, people, leave me alone, let me have my space. And it's kind of in the heart of Seattle. As I said, from the outside, you can see that the house just stays in one shape, in one position, but from the inside, everything is getting rearranged and mismatched and, you know, moved about. Oh, I do want to mention that the house was apparently situated on top of a Native American burial ground, which of course does not help with the hauntings too. So I can't wait to actually see that in the book. Hopefully they do explore that factor of the house as well inside of the book. So, okay, so one of the most memorable things about that home is the solarium, the sunroom, the garden, the Florida room, right? The garden observatory. Like, it has so many different names, but the solarium just sounds so pretty. It is just so beautiful. Sans the deaths that happened there. You can imagine that it must have been such a beautiful room in its prime, because in the movie they show it as a completely dead and withered garden. Everything is dead in there, like from roots to vines to leaves, it's just death. Except for this one area where it seems like there's a little bit of a heartbeat and things are growing there. But yeah, I absolutely love the solarium because you can see that it has these sky-high vaulted ceilings, so to speak, and there's a lot of glass everywhere because you're supposed to feel like you're outside. The sun should be able to reach you. And then the entryway, it's pretty massive. There are these huge columns that kind of greet you once you get inside of the house. It looks like it's almost a place where you can have this grand ball and everybody would be dressed up to have a wonderful evening in the entryway because it's that big. There are a lot of different rooms and features of the house that are just, they have that Gothic essence. You can feel that the place really has a creepy and haunting vibe to it, so they did really well in choosing the Thornwood Castle because Rose Red is an actual place. You can go visit it, I'm sure. Probably they have events and everything there that you could possibly imagine, like weddings, for example. But yes, the Thornwood Castle is the actual location for Rose Red, and the exterior is just so beautiful. There's like red brick and all of these beautiful like architectural features, a ton of windows that are just amazing for letting light in, of course. And yeah, I just love it. It just feels very carpeted, very regal and elegant. Another fun room inside of the movie was the mirror room. Yeah, I'm just gonna put up a picture of it and you guys will see exactly how it looks. It's just very fun housey. It can be like kind of trip you up a little bit, you know, if you were to get lost there. I just wanted to share with you guys that the Thornwood Castle actually has 54 rooms, which makes a lot of sense because Rose Red is so dark darn massive. And then it includes 22 bedrooms and well over 22 bathrooms. It seems to have also been the place, the scene for two presidents, William Howard Taft. I think that's the biggest, fattest president. So they say that's one of the things that they always mention about Taft. And then Teddy Roosevelt, Theodore, you guys know, Theodore Roosevelt. But yes, I think that's pretty cool. And something else nifty, FYI, or fun fact rather, about Rose Red, it seems that it reached about 18 million viewers. And I always say that if something reached 18 million viewers, you can almost double it or triple it, because back in the day, I feel like a lot more people were housed together doing watch parties. It's like, it's time for a little bit of a watch party. So you probably can bet it to be close to 60. Maybe more, you know, think of siblings and friends and girls' night and guys' night and whatnot. But yes, that television premiere of Rose Red, and it's just like 3 simple episodes, it reached about 18 point something million people. So I think that's really rad. The house is just absolutely stunning. I always have remembered it from my childhood. So very happy to kind of bring that into your world if you've never heard of Rose Red, if you've never heard of the mini-series.
Old friends is true friends. They're the friends you love the best. You never know with new friends. Old friends is best.
The Devil Wears Prada. Okay, our final home is a townhouse, actually. If you guys recall, in The Devil Wears Prada, there's this very quick scene where Anne Hathaway's character goes to deliver this book to Miranda Priestley, Meryl Streep's character. And there's some specific instructions to put the dry cleaning in the closet across from the staircase and to put the book on the table with flowers.
Now, it's very important that you do exactly what I'm about to tell you. The book is assembled by 10:30, and you must wait around for it until then. You will be delivering Miranda's dry cleaning with the book. Andrea, you do not talk to anyone. Do not look at anyone. This is of the utmost importance. You must be invisible. Do you understand? You hang the dry cleaning in the closet across from the staircase, and you leave the book on the table with the flowers.
Oh my god, she just couldn't follow these instructions. She started engaging with her boss's daughters, who got her in trouble. She got herself in trouble. I'm sorry, but you're a grown woman. You shouldn't have gone upstairs. Emily Blunt's character told you to stay where you were. It really is infuriating. But this townhouse is so beautiful. It belongs in a magazine. It belongs in Architectural Digest. It belongs in Country Living. Even though that's not really a country living, is it? Because you're 2 steps away from Central Park, which is a very metropolitan and busy place. But it belongs in some type of interior designing magazine. It is so beautiful and rich and elegant and expensive and luxurious, okay? That townhome, I think, has about like, it appears to have about like 5 stories, you guys. Can you imagine what you would do with that kind of space? Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's apparently a neo-Italian Renaissance style, and I believe the actual home was built around the early 1900s. Okay, so 20th century. Yeah, so it has some really beautiful and exquisite like details and lots of molding. I think what really just sold for me was the amount of florals that were in the home. It was just so well designed and well curated that everything had its place. It's just you just want to settle there. It feels like the president can come and sit there, whatever president you choose. It feels like dignitaries, is that what it is? Dignitaries can come and have a coffee there and have a meeting about, you know, global affairs and geopolitical matters. But yeah, so we only get a little glimmer of Miranda's home, and the rest is left up to imagination. You have this area where the stairs just go up and up and up, and you have the twins, you know, looking down. It just kind of indicates that this is a very tall structure. It's a very high, and there are many floors inside of this townhome. So yeah, it's very beautiful and just so well done and so well decorated. You can imagine that this space has a service elevator, because just no way that somebody who runs pretty much the runway and Vogue would not have such a thing inside of their own personal home. So there's like limestone and marble architectural features. It's a very ornate looking building from the outside as well. Tons of windows with iron bars over them, but in such an elegant, you know, regal way. I just love that style. I absolutely just love that style. There's this central double door framework where you have the double doors to the entry, and they say guilloche enframement. So I will definitely put something to kind of explain what that could be, because yeah, that home is just, you just want to go and rob it pretty much. Even the roof, there's like this intricate cornice, so they say, all these architectural terms, lots of ironwork over the windows, but not in the way that you would think it's like, oh, this is barred and it has a prison feeling to it. No, not at all. There's nothing much more than luxury and regalness. I think some of the colors that stood out to me are like tufted blues and nice carpets. There's this kind of like classic bookshelf area that we kind of caught a glimpse of. You can imagine that she just has that powdered, pampered, clothy, woven, cottony material on. Everything's upholstered. That's the word I'm looking for. Everything's upholstered. There's fresh flowers everywhere, cut crystals, beautiful lacquered tables for cocktails. Just the whole vibe is just so beautiful. And just from the entryway alone, I was like, can you guys please look? Should have shown Andy sneaking around a little bit more because that space was just so stunning. But yeah, that was my very last home, Miranda Priestley's, and yeah, you guys, Devil Wears Prada is a classic. And I know that there's also a book which I think I own. I think I actually have that. So, well, I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and hearing me ramble on about houses. Obviously, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I've done a little bit of research here and there, but from my own eyes, I just see places that are inviting, that people call home, and that are just so well curated and designed that I had to bring them up. I'm thinking of doing something like this again next year for some more homes. Maybe I might do some that are in TV shows, because you guys know these are the people who are hanging out with us in our living room, so we get to see their houses all the time. But yeah, I had so much fun just going over all of these movies. Check them all out. I don't think there's one in the bunch that I don't absolutely love. So hopefully I gave you some good movie recommendations, some ideas of how to decorate a home, and yeah, just a buddy to hang out with. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you in my very next video. Bye.